Hi, everyone. Welcome again to Caregiver Truths. Let's talk a little bit about advocating for your own well being as you are advocating for your loved ones. One of the things that's real important is when you go to a doctor's appointment, make sure you are very honest with your doctor, letting your doctor know, first of all, that you are a caregiver. Let your doctor also know what you're experiencing as a result of the responsibilities that you have. A lot of doctors are not familiar with caregiver stress or chronic caregiver stress. That's real important because what you're doing is helping to educate them, which makes it a lot better for the next caregiver that comes in to be treated by that same doctor. But it's real important that you're specific. It's real important that you're really very honest. Let them know the level of frustration. Keep it real. Remember, this is caregiver truths. Keep it real. They need to know. They need to know the impact that these responsibilities are having on your well being. It's real, real important. Look, some of the greatest stressors of a caregiver are things like fecal incontinence. I don't know anybody that loves to deal with that. And I'm going to tell you right now, I absolutely hated it. Love the people that I've taken care of, but absolutely hated doing that. I kept it real. I had to realize that is my truth. I don't like dealing with that. But it did help me prepare, knowing when that scent hits your nose, okay, you can put the Vicks underneath there. You can do whatever. But that is something that really can produce a lot of stress. And when you have people that have dementia, let me tell you, those of you all who are taking care of someone with some serious cognitive decline, you already know they can hide something and you may never find it. You may smell it, but you cannot find the source. Let me tell you, sometimes you will open up your refrigerator and there in their biggest day will be a loaded adult diaper. You know, we are talking about caregiver truths and stressors. That's huge. Another stressor is wandering. Let your doctor know. Yes, this person is capable of escaping because sometimes they can get out that house. You can't even go to the bathroom for 25 seconds because you are worried if they're going to up and leave. Sometimes, and I know some people can relate to this, you have to bring them right in that bathroom with you to watch them. That's stressful. That's very stressful. Absolutely. Memory issues. Hearing someone repeat the same things or ask the same question over and over and over and over again, I don't care how much you love them, that can press on your nerves. And it absolutely can. Do not let people tell you, but that's your mama, that's your daddy. You can't be upset with them. Yes, you can. You're human. Never forget your humanness. And it's okay. It doesn't mean you don't love them. But one of the things I may have said in the earlier video, it is so dangerous to suppress how you really feel about something. You cannot continuously do that and think it's just going to go away. Your body doesn't forget that you are suppressing and holding all of those things in. You got to have a space. You got to have a safe space to vent and let that stuff out. You got to come up and find out, rather, what some strategies are that you can put in place to do those. We're going to talk about some of those as well. Sleep problems, yours and the one that you're taking care of. You just can't sleep. That wreaks havoc on you. I know at one point I was troubled with insomnia. That is very scary. That is very scary, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's a horrible thing not to be able to sleep peacefully and comfortably every night. And you cannot have that continuing to happen. When your loved one has aggression, when sometimes they absolutely want to fight you, biting you, throwing things on you, throwing fecal matter on you. Yes, that happens. That's a humongous stressor. Absolutely, absolutely is. Impulse control problems. Some of our loved ones cannot control their impulses. And a lot of times we know they can't control it. They don't mean any harm. But sometimes some of them do. And some of them know just what they're doing. Caregiver truth, y'all. And it's true. Some of them do know what they're doing. I've worked with those persons, they know what they're doing. But in any event, it is a huge stressor that you must let your physicians know is going on, in your life, in your caregiving life. And hopefully they'll be able to give you some strategies, something other than a pill, to be able to manage this better. One of my greatest hopes is that caregivers will have greater access to mental health counseling so they can better manage the stress and some of the things that go along with their caregiving responsibilities. And if there are any mental health counselors, therapists, licensed therapists, out there and you can hear me, please consider marketing your practice to caregivers if you know that you absolutely, have a way that they can really manage that. And it's even better, if there is a therapist who has been a caregiver, so you know firsthand what they're dealing with. Absolutely. Um, Hold on one second. I want to share something with you all, and I don't want to lose my place, which I did. But let me just share this with you while I'm still looking. Look, we talked earlier that it's been said there's 63 million caregivers in the United States. Of course, there are more because so many people don't identify as a caregiver, and there are 1 billion caregivers on the planet. There again, they're more than that because so many cultures would never call themselves a caregiver. No, that's just what we do. That's my mother. That's an elder in our village, so that's just what we do. But and they're called the invisible workforce because so many people do not see them. They do not see what they do. But that means roughly 1 out of 4 people in the United States are caregivers. That's a lot of people. A lot of people. My point is this: there, we can never do too much to help and support caregivers. There's no such thing as writing too many books, having too many plays and skits, no too many poems, too many YouTube videos. There's no such thing. Even if I had a million viewers, you know, I still would not be touching all of the caregivers, just a fraction of them. So we need to have as many things as we possibly can have to address the challenges that caregivers are faced with. That's real important. So, you know what? I just implore those of you all, who write, who've had caregiving experience, put those things in place that you think, could possibly help a caregiver. Maybe it's a poem, something to encourage them, whatever. But there's nothing like you're doing too much to help caregivers. No such thing. No such thing at all. And while I'm on that, let me just share this with you. There is no way one person can reach all of these caregivers. There's no way that 1,000, 20,000 can reach all of the caregivers. They all need something different, maybe something similar. But my point is simply this: we have got to consider collaborating more with each other versus thinking as a person as your competitor. That's absolutely ridiculous and downright dumb. Let me just call it what it is. That is one of the dumbest thoughts ever when we are all trying to help. Anytime you have an idea, you have a curriculum, you got books or whatever that's been designed to give a person a better quality of life, there's no way that God gave you that to just manage that by yourself and, just always do things by yourself. We've got to really have more of a spirit of collaboration. We have got to. I don't care how good your product or your service is. I don't care how wonderful your book is, your poem. There's always someone who's going to write something better. It just is. Maybe subjective, but there's going to be somebody who's going to like that better. And no matter how bad you think your work might be or inadequate it might be, there's always going to be something that is worse. My point simply is this: we need to try more to work together for the good of these family caregivers. Nobody's shine is going to be dulled by working with someone else. We're like puzzles. I love how God designed that. He designed everybody has a piece that fits into another piece, But some of us want to be islands. So be that. I would never in life force anybody, to collaborate with me, nor will I force myself, on anyone. But that needs to be said. I just am seeing too much of that still. Too much of that still. And you end up dulling your own shine, when people can discern that's what's going on. But anyway, get off of that soapbox. But it needed to be said. Again, I cannot express enough the need for us as caregivers to take excellent care of yourself so you can take excellent care of the one that you are charged with taking care of. You've got to understand you have to value your well being as much as you value the well being of your loved one. You have to, because you are just as important as they are. So, look, take care of you. Take very good care of you. See you next time.